That person huddled in the doorway, hands wrapped around a coffee can with a tiny flame dancing inside it, is not doing what you think they are doing. They are not desperate. They are not improvising. They are not surviving by accident. They are executing a fire-building strategy so thermodynamically precise that it outperforms the giant bonfires weekend campers build with armloads of expensive wood and lighter fluid. The bonfire roars and staggers everyone back 6 feet. The tiny can fire sits perfectly still and delivers twice the usable warmth to the human body sitting beside it. You have been building fires wrong your entire life, and the people society told you to pity figured it out long before you did. Everything you think you know about fire and heat is backwards. The proof has been living on the street corner, in plain sight, waiting for you this whole time. It is the winter of 2019 on the streets of Portland, Oregon. A man named Jason Everly, unsheltered, resourceful, and deeply observant, is doing something that would baffle most people who own a fireplace. He has found a number 10 can, the kind that comes from restaurant-sized tins of tomatoes or peaches. He has filled it with mesquite charcoal scavenged from the leftover bins behind food carts that line the streets of Portland's Saturday market. He has punched holes along the bottom rim of the can with a screwdriver to let air in at the base. He has lit the charcoal inside, and now he is sitting close, very close, less than 18 inches away from a flame you could cover with your hand, and he is warm. Genuinely, deeply warm in a way that the group of tourists clustered around the decorative bonfire in the plaza 3 blocks away simply are not. They are standing back from their fire. He is sitting close to his. They keep adding wood. He has not touched his in 40 minutes. The charcoal glows orange-white. The metal walls of the can radiate heat in every direction. The combustion is almost entirely smokeless because the little holes Everly punched have turned his tin can into a miniature rocket stove, feeding oxygen directly to the base of the flame where it needs to be. He is warm. They are not. He published these observations in Street Roots, the Portland Street newspaper, describing what he called homeless life hacks, a term that quietly understates something remarkable. This was not improvisation, this was engineering, and it had a name that goes back centuries. So here is the question that should stop you cold, no pun intended. If a man surviving on Portland's streets with a coffee can and scavenged charcoal had already solved the problem of fire and warmth more effectively than most people with fireplaces and fire pits, what exactly does that tell us about everything we were taught? Before we go further, drop a comment below and tell me, have you ever built a fire outdoors and still felt cold, even though the fire was huge? I want you to sit with that memory as we go through this. What you're about to discover will change how you see fire, heat, and warmth forever. You will never look at a bonfire the same way again. Let's talk about what most people actually do when they want to get warm outdoors. They pile wood, they build it big, they stand back and let it roar. Walk into any campsite on a cold October night in the Appalachians, and you will see the same scene repeated endlessly. A pyramid of logs the size of a small car, flames shooting 3 or 4 feet into the air, and a ring of people standing about 5 or 6 feet away because any closer and the radiant heat is scorching. The fire is enormous. The people are still cold on their backs. They keep rotating, warming their fronts, cooling their backs, turning like rotisserie chickens in the open air, feeding log after log into a fire that is consuming wood at a rate of roughly 4 to 6 kilograms per hour. By midnight, the wood pile is gone. The fire is out. Everyone crawls into sleeping bags, still shivering, because the moment the fire died, the ambient temperature dropped back to what it always was. and all that burning accomplished almost nothing in terms of sustained warmth. That is the modern campfire. That is what we were taught. That is what outdoor stores sell supplies for. And almost every element of it is thermodynamically backward. Here is the part that should make you genuinely angry. The physics that explains why this is wrong has been known for over a century. It is not obscure, it is not contested, it is not buried in some academic journal that nobody reads. It is basic radiation science, the same science that explains why you feel the sun's warmth through a window even when the outside air is freezing cold. And nobody in the outdoor industry, nobody in camping culture, nobody selling you fire starters and log racks and cast iron cookware ever sat you down and explained it honestly. They just kept selling bigger grates and more fuel and called it a better experience. The science is called the inverse square law, and once you understand it, you cannot unsee it. Here is what it says. When a fire radiates heat outward, that energy spreads in all directions at once. As you move farther away, the same amount of energy must cover a larger sphere of space. Specifically, the intensity of heat reaching your body drops with the square of the distance. Double your distance from a fire and you receive 1/4 of the heat. Triple your distance and you receive 1/9. That is not a gradual decline, that is a cliff. Now think about what a bonfire does to you. It forces you back 5 feet, 6 feet, sometimes 8 feet back if it is large enough. At 6 feet from a fire that produces 100 units of radiant energy, you are receiving roughly 3 units. Meanwhile, a small, well-built fire that produces only 10 units of radiant energy but lets you sit 18 inches away, and that close delivers more usable heat to your body than that bonfire does. That is not a metaphor, that is mathematics, and nobody in the camping aisle ever told you. Here is where it gets even more remarkable. Physicist Christopher Baird at West Texas A&M University has spent years explaining exactly what heats your body when you sit near a fire. His conclusion, nearly all of the warming you feel is thermal radiation, infrared light traveling directly from the flame to your skin at the speed of light. The hot air from a fire, the convection, goes straight up. It rises into the sky and warms nothing on its way out. Baird is direct about it. The heat transferred via convection shoots straight up and never reaches you. Between 65 and 70% of a fire's total energy output disappears upward into the atmosphere as hot convecting gas. Only the radiated fraction, roughly 30%, moves sideways toward your body. A bonfire releases this energy from too great a distance to matter. A small fire releases it close enough to transform it into survival. Now let's go deeper, because distance is only the first layer of this story. The second layer is combustion efficiency, and this is where it gets truly revealing. Smoke is not a byproduct of fire. Smoke is failure. Every single wisp of smoke rising from a fire is unburned carbon, unburned volatile organic compounds, unburned potential heat escaping into the air above your head. Incomplete combustion, the technical term for what is happening inside every smoky bonfire you have ever sat beside, liberates only about 52% of the energy that complete combustion would release. A large bonfire creates oxygen-starved zones deep inside its pile, where wood is gasifying but not igniting. Those gases, called pyrolysis products, drift out as smoke and haze. They are fuel that never became fire. They are heat that never warmed anyone. A small fire fed with pencil-diameter sticks, the size of your finger, not your forearm, allows oxygen to reach every fuel surface simultaneously. The entire stick is in contact with air. The entire stick burns hot. Temperatures in the combustion zone of a properly fed small fire can exceed 1,000 degrees Celsius. At that temperature, the volatile gases ignite before they escape. There is no smoke because there is nothing left unburned. All of it has become heat and light. This is not theory. The Aprovecho Research Center, a nonprofit that has been testing fire and cookstove efficiency since the 1980s, measured it directly. Their data is sobering. A large open bonfire converts between 5 and 15% of its fuel energy into usable heat. A well-tended three-stone fire with wind protection reaches 20 to 30%. A basic rocket stove, built on the same principle as Jason Everly's punched tin can, achieves 29 to 32% efficiency. An optimized rocket stove reaches 40 to 56% efficiency. The difference between a bonfire and a small, well-designed fire is not marginal. It is the difference between wasting 90 cents of every fuel dollar and keeping more than half of it. Think of it this way. Imagine you have a bag of charcoal. You can spread it across the ground in a wide pile and light it, or you can pack it into a metal cylinder with air holes at the base and light it. The pile spreads heat in every direction, including downward into the cold dirt, suffocates its own interior with oxygen starvation, and radiates from too far away to reach you. The cylinder concentrates combustion, delivers oxygen precisely where burning is happening, and radiates heat from close range directly to your body. Same charcoal, same night, radically different outcome. Now let's talk about the people who figured all of this out centuries before any laboratory confirmed a single number. The Dakota fire hole is arguably the most ingenious fire building technique ever developed by human beings for a specific environment. It comes from the Lakota and Dakota peoples of the Great Plains, people who hunted bison on a landscape with almost no trees, brutal, relentless wind, and temperatures that could kill an unprepared person in hours. They could not afford a bonfire even if they wanted one. Every stick of wood was survival capital, so they dug 2 holes in the earth, connected at the base by a tunnel. The fire chamber was 12 to 16 inches deep. The air intake tunnel angled into its base from a short distance away. As hot air rose from the fire, it created a vacuum that pulled fresh oxygen through the tunnel and into the base of the flame in a continuous, self-sustaining cycle. The result was a fire that burned extremely hot, produced almost no smoke, consumed a fraction of the fuel a surface fire would require, and was nearly invisible from a distance. It burned so completely that it left behind white ash rather than black char, the unmistakable signature of full combustion. The U.S. Army studied this design and wrote it into survival doctrine. FM 2176, the official Army Survival Manual, teaches the Dakota fire hole explicitly in Chapter 7. Survival, evasion, resistance, and escape training uses it today. An ancient indigenous design became standard military doctrine because the physics it embodies is simply irrefutable. And if you are finding this useful, if pieces are clicking into place that never made sense before, hit the like button right now, because we are not even at the most useful part yet. The Finns went a different direction with the same core principle. In the Arctic North, where winter nights can stretch to 20 hours and temperatures drop to -30, the Finnish army developed a fire called the Rakovalkia, the gap fire. 2 large logs, each 6 to 8 inches in diameter, are laid parallel with a gap of 4 to 6 inches between them. The fire burns only in the narrow slit where the flat log faces meet. Stakes hold the logs in place. The gap width controls the burn rate like a valve. Narrow the gap and the fire slows. Widen it and it intensifies. A pair of properly spaced logs burns for 8 hours through an Arctic night with 0 tending. The fire radiates heat along its full length, warming a sleeping person from head to toe. Finnish field manuals document it. Finnish soldiers have slept warm beside it for generations. No bonfire, no log pile. 2 logs, 8 hours, warmth. Here is where the rocket stove enters the modern conversation. In 1980, engineer Larry Winiarski at the Aprovecho Research Center developed a combustion design he called the rocket stove, an L-shaped insulated chamber where thin sticks feed horizontally into a vertical chimney. The insulated chimney heated rapidly, generating a powerful updraft that pulled air over the fuel at high velocity. The effect was an air pump aimed directly at a small fire, producing combustion so complete that one commercial rocket stove design achieved 96.7% combustion efficiency. Rocket mass heaters built on this principle are documented to use 80 to 90% less wood than conventional wood heating, while producing more sustained, even warmth across a room. What Winiarski described in engineering terms in a laboratory, Jason Everly had independently reconstructed on a Portland street with a can opener and a screwdriver found in an alley. That convergence is not a coincidence. It is what happens when the physics is real and the stakes are high enough to force people toward the truth. So why did the mainstream world abandon what worked? 3 reasons, and they follow the same pattern every time. Speed. The big fire is faster to build. Dump wood, light it, done. Cost. Teaching people to tend small fires carefully requires skill transmission, and skill does not scale the way products do. Displacement. Cheap, abundant firewood made efficiency irrelevant for anyone who could simply buy more. Why master a technique when you can throw another log on? The outdoor industry grew up around campfire aesthetics. The big roaring fire is romantic. It is cinematic. It photographs beautifully and sells tents and fire starters and cast iron cookware. Nobody profits from telling you to punch holes in a tin can and sit closer. The hidden cost arrived quietly, a culture that genuinely does not know how to stay warm with fire, dependent on abundant cheap fuel, standing 6 feet back from flames that could be warming them if only someone had told them the truth. That is the exoneration you deserve to hear. If you have spent years shivering beside campfires that you built bigger and bigger without getting warmer, the failure was not yours. You were following the template the culture handed you. A big fire that looks impressive, a fire that signals abundance, a fire built for the photograph, not for the physics. You were not broken. You were given broken instructions by a system that never had any incentive to give you better ones. So what do you actually do with this now? Option 1, the easiest thing you can do starting tonight. Stop building big and start building close. Use sticks about the diameter of a thumb or a finger, not logs. Build your fire no larger than a dinner plate in footprint. Sit within 18 inches. Add fuel frequently in small amounts, a stick every 5 to 8 minutes, rather than loading the fire heavily and stepping away. No special equipment, no additional cost. This single change will transform your experience of outdoor warmth more than doubling your wood supply ever could. Option 2, the intermediate build. Make yourself a hobo stove, the direct descendant of Jason Everly's coffee can, and a design with roots going back to the Great Depression. Take any large metal can. A number 10 restaurant can is ideal, the kind you can get free from any diner. Use a punch tool to create 4 to 6 air intake holes, equally spaced around the bottom rim, each roughly ½ an inch in diameter. Fill with hardwood lump charcoal or small dry sticks. Light it. Place it where you need heat. The metal walls reflect infrared radiation back inward, intensifying combustion and direct heat outward toward your body. You have built a functional rocket stove from something that was going in a recycling bin. Sit close 18 inches. You will be genuinely, steadily warm from a fire you could cover with one hand. Option 3, the minimum step you can take right now. Wherever you build a fire outdoors, build a reflector jiao wall behind it. Stack 3 or 4 logs parallel to the fire on the far side, or lean flat stones against each other, or hang a mylar emergency blanket from 2 sticks. This single addition redirects radiation that was escaping away from you and sends it straight back toward your body. Field measurements show temperature increases of 6 to 7 degrees Fahrenheit at the sleeper's position from this one modification alone. 5 minutes of setup, no cost, a meaningfully warmer night. Jason Everly was not doing what most people assume a person in his situation was doing. He was not making do. He was not making the best of a bad situation. He was applying the most thermodynamically precise fire-building knowledge available to a survival problem with genuinely lethal stakes, and he was doing it with a coffee can and charcoal scavenged from behind a food cart. He was warmer than the tourists standing 6 feet from a $500 fire pit 3 blocks away. That is not irony, that is physics. The knowledge was never lost. It was simply handed down through the people the mainstream stopped watching, passed through survival manuals, through indigenous traditions, through Finnish army field doctrine, through Aprovechos laboratories, and through the quiet community networks of people for whom getting fire wrong was never an option. The secret was never in the size of the flame, it was always in the distance. If this is the kind of knowledge you want, the overlooked and the undervalued, the things that actually work when everything the system sold you has failed, subscribe to this channel. This is exactly what we dig up every single week. Tell us in the comments what piece of forgotten, practical knowledge you want us to investigate next. We read every single one.